Boats! Brisbane Yamaha knows boats. Hi, I'm Aaron, the owner of Brisbane Yamaha. And are you the sort of blokes that your neighbours hate you? Because whether you go in the estuary, you'll catch more fish. Whether you go offshore, you catch all the fish. Well, I can tell you, I've got something special just for you. What this is a 500 Axis Evolution. And what I'd call it is a crossover boat. Because whether you're a bass man, whether you're sneaking up some river, catching bass, yellowbelly, trout, or whether you're going offshore, this thing can do it all. Now, I've spoken about Evolution before, but you need to look at them. They're hand laid. They are a bespoke boat, meaning they're custom built, and there's an enormous amount of options. But being hand laid, so what we're saying is, you've got the mould just like every boat, but they lay down sheets of fiberglass the old way. The reason? Consistency of the product, of the hull. There's biaxial wovings in there, and the whole way someone's rolling. The other way is you use a chopper gun, but this is hand laid. And the thing about them, come up here, is the quality. They're made in Victoria, and they have one hell of a reputation for riding, rigidity, soft, smooth. This is a 500, and people say, look at that hull. We've got it on a Dumbia trailer, full drive on trailer. Wonderful, wonderful trailer. Have a look at that. There's no rollers underneath. Everything comes in. You could drive that on in the worst of conditions. Up here, we've got the bow mount for a Minn Coda, nav lights, great big anchor winch that you could put in there, an anchor winch, anchor locker, you could put an anchor winch in there, good solid bow sprit, you know, you could hang off that. You could tow the boat, you could get a helicopter and lift this thing off this. It is so good. And we're going to look inside, but look down that side, Dan. He's gone again. Dan's gone. Get up the front of you, Dan, and have a look down that side so you can just see the beam of this boat and that shape of the hull, because that's what it's about. And Paul Junger, he's a marine surveyor. He is a shipwright, you know, and he knows how to build a boat, and it's built beautifully. And we'll have a quick look, because some of the things, twin live bait tanks at the back, 65 litres. You only need 60 litres for a tournament. It's got 220 insulated ice box in there that could be plumbed out. And so if you're catching cod, barra, some saltwater stuff, you could just have it in there swimming around. A lot of contests now, you have to bring the fish live. This boat is custom built for it. 150 litres of fuel. It's you can take 5 people on it, a 130s max. It's got a lot going for it, hasn't it? Inside. Now, one of the things across, let me just get quickly, Dan, because I don't want to bore everyone. The internal's 1900. The outside's 2120. Now, and it's flat-sided. So right across just the back, we're 2100. We're 2100. It's a 5 metre boat. Well, it's actually 5.5, but they call them 5 metres. Massive duck boards with a ladder underneath. These are solid fiberglass. Dan, get under there and have a look. I'm telling you, the finish under the duck board is better than most people's outside of the boat, you know. We've got that 90 horsepower Yamaha. And geez, I love them. You know, I love all Yamahas, but a 90 is a beast. This boat's rated up to 130. You know, hardcore maybe for me, someone that casts a big shadow. I'd probably do it just because I'm a marine dealer and I own it. I'd put a 130, but I tell you, you don't need it. This 90, and we're going to see how fast it goes in a minute. And that'll be loaded up, and we've got old Porky here, Dan, with me and me. So there's 250 kilo going in the boat. Now, quickly, let's hop in and just look at a couple of things. Rod storage, 8-foot rods. You've got a deck wash there as well, either side. Awesome fiberglass. Feet underneath, up to the rail, just perfect. In the back, those massive live bait tanks. Have a look in there, Dan, show around, because they are deep and big, and that's the ones you want. Storage underneath, because it's there. You put your battery, fuel filter, storage in there, more storage on that side. Another one under the floor here that you could put some safety, some tackle, some, you know, I put all my game fishing gear in there. Storage under that awesome back to front seat. You know, you could get 2 people on it, or if you've got a big fat bum like me, 1. Awesome sort of, look at this. Jesus. Breaking it off the trailer. That is solid. Rails on the side. Good storage underneath here where my feet are. Yamaha control box, 704, key switch, land gauges. Could put a biggest sounder you want there. Up the front, here's these 2 ice boxes. Now, all of Evolution hulls are all foam filled. That's why they're so quiet, that's why the rigidity, and that makes them into eskies. Or, you know, like I said, you plumb it out, couple of big cod in there. Well, you get a lot of cod in there. You could put, I reckon I'll get Andrew in there, let alone him and someone else if I cut their legs off. Don't say that. Now, let's get in the water and see how this beauty goes. Here we are out in the bay, and gee, every time I come out here, Queensland's just spectacular. And talking about spectacular, this is a serious boat. Very capable. Now, I said earlier, oh, you might put a 130, it's got a 90, you know, go perfect. I underestimated a 90 on this thing. Watch this. You ready, Dan? 1, 2, 3. And I'm on the plane. And we're off! Oh, it's a race. And I'll tell you, we're doing 5,029 knots. 6,035 knots. Woohoo! There's a movie, Titanic, and that Leonardo DiCaprio. And he stands up there with Kate Winslow. I'm king of the world. Well, I tell you, if you own one of these, you're the king of 2 countries. You're king up in the impoundments, and you're king out here. Because this is a serious offshore weapon. This is a great boat. Great handling boat, stable, manoeuvrable, sure-footed. You know, your mates already hate you because you catch all the fish, and now they'll think it's because of your boat. This thing is a weapon. Hang in there, Dan. We'll do the figure 8. Woohoo! And it just holds like a race car. You know, I got an AMG Mercedes, and this thing's equivalent to it. I can imagine having a couple of lines out, catching little blacks. The floor in here is all non-slip checkered. It all drains out, self-draining scuppers out the back. In a 5-metre boat, unheard of. Up the top, it's stable, you know? Look at that. 120 kilos. You can hardly move it. You could be flicking, you could be prawning, you know, hauling up stuff. I'd be sitting up here, casting. I was just down in Victoria. You could be the king of, like, one of them classic cod fishermen. This is a capable offshore boat, which is small enough to go at impoundments, estuaries. With the centre console, massive amounts of room because of that beam. Catch a billy, everyone's going nuts. Backing up into the waves, turn into it. Look at it. Little bit comes over, straighten up, boom, off, stable. I'm not sure I couldn't, woohoo! Try that in your boat, woohoo! You know why? The hull. If you're looking for a crossover boat, if you want to be the king of the impoundment, if you want to be the king of offshore, if you live in Queensland, this thing can do the lot. Centre console, get the tune, get some rays on you. If you're looking for a boat, you better call the team at Brisbane Yamaha. You could have this boat for Christmas. No shit. This could be you. Call the team, 3888 1727, or go on Brisbane Yamaha. You can print all the specs, every boat's in there, and there'll be photos from this text. And I hope I see you on the water in an Evolution 500 Axis. See you then.